Number 8.
Coyle.
Honorable colleagues, I rise today on the unceded lands of the Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation to speak to Senator Sorensen's inquiry on the nation-building value of tourism. The focus of my contribution to this inquiry will be, you guessed it, my province of Nova Scotia, Canada's ocean playground, Mi'kma'ki. And because Senator Sorensen challenged us in her launch of this inquiry to look into the whole tourism ecosystem, I've decided to focus on Nova Scotia's very important arts and culture sector. The many rich and diverse arts and culture offerings of Nova Scotia are a significant draw for local, national, and international tourists and important contributors to our local, provincial, and national economies. Colleagues, Nova Scotia is well known for its natural beauty and iconic historical sites. The warmest waters north of the Carolinas along the Northumberland Strait, Kejimkujik National Park, where I love the backcountry canoeing, Cape Breton Highlands National Park, where the views of the ocean from the cliff edge of the Skyline Trail are breathtaking, as is the occasional encounter with a moose. The majestic Peggy's Cove Lighthouse, perched on a uniquely beautiful and equally dangerous rock formation on Nova Scotia's storied South Shore. The World Heritage Site at Joggins Fossil Cliffs, the exhilaration of tidal bore rafting on the Shubenacadie River, experiencing the Bay of Fundy's highest tides in the world. Or just come to Antigonish, and I will take you on my 3 weddings tour, the sites of my 3 daughters' weddings. First, Mount Cameron, with the view out to the estuary leading into Antigonish Harbor. Second, St. FX's Crystal Cliffs seaside property and beach on St. George's Bay, where Hollywood movie stars honeymooned. And third, Cape George Lighthouse, situated with a stunning view across St. George's Bay with lobster, crab, and tuna fishing boats and the occasional dolphin or whale across the highlands of Cape Breton. I've been fortunate to have visits from Senators Anderson, Sorensen, Deakin, Ontario, Greenwood, Kuchar, and of course my neighbor from across the bay, Senator Prosper. For iconic historical sites, we have many, including Fortress Louisbourg, the Halifax Citadel, Port Royal, the Black Loyalist Heritage Center in Bridgetown, Grand Pré, the famous Acadian National Historic Site, and many others. Nova Scotia is a province of natural and historic splendor. Connected to and often inspired by the majesty of our natural environment and the richness and diversity of our histories, Nova Scotia has an abundance of outstanding artists and arts and culture institutions and attractions in our cities and scattered throughout our rural landscapes. Mi'kmaq nations in Nova Scotia share their culture and arts at Mawiomi's traditional gatherings, powwows. With such magnificent natural beauty and rich histories, our visual artists create and share their art with the world. While Nova Scotia visual artists Maud Lewis, Alex Colville, and Mi'kmaq artist Alan Syliboy may be household names to many of you, I can assure you that visitors to our province will be impressed with the abundance of diverse artistic talent they encounter in Nova Scotia and the many opportunities available to view, learn about, be inspired by, and purchase art in its many forms. In a recent article about Nova Scotia entitled "The Small Province with the Surprisingly Big Creative Soul," the author wrote, "This tiny province is packed with artists. In my small town of Antigonish, we have more artists than I could count. Some are graduates of the Nova Scotia School of Art and Design University. For decades, we had Lightsome Gallery and the Red Sky Gallery, and we are fortunate to still have the Down to Earth Gallery in our town. The St. FX University Gallery, located in the Brian Mulroney Institute of Government building, is a remarkable resource for campus, community, and visitors alike. The beautiful and poignant work of Senator Prosper's partner, the visual artist Antoinette Karuna, was featured in a recent show at the St. FX Gallery. Even everyone's favorite local hangout, the Tall and Small Cafe on Main Street, hosts regular art shows. My granddaughter Maya, the artist who is featured on my annual holiday cards to you, had a show there when she was still in high school. She made $800 in that show. Pete Norman's famous graffiti art can be found under bridges and other interesting locations throughout town and county. Our local library, the People's Place, is resplendent with its permanent art collection and regular temporary exhibitions. The Sisters of St. Martha's new home at Parkland features a beautiful painting honoring the sisters entitled The Journey by Antigonish artist Anna Siperek. This tremendous masterpiece is also a draw for visitors. The Art Gallery of Nova Scotia in Halifax and many other private galleries throughout the province are wonderful places for visitors to view and purchase art. The Halifax Airport features the art of Mi'kmaq artist Loretta Gould on all exterior windows in the check-in area of departures. Her work can also be seen, along with that of many other Indigenous artists, at the Friends United Gallery in Cape Breton. The airport's international arrivals area is dazzling with the works of Mi'kmaq artist Alan Syliboy. Inspired by Mi'kmaq rock drawing, Alan has his own studio gallery in Millbrook. Nova Scotia is also known for its very gifted writers, for public readings and for writers' festivals. People will associate Nova Scotia with writers such as Kate Beaton, Alistair MacLeod, Sherry Fitch, Daniel McIver, Lyndon McIntyre, Leslie Choice, Sheldon Curry, Leo McKay Jr., Susan Goyette, Elliot Page, Newfoundland transplant, Donna Morrissey, yes, we claim her now, and New York Times best-selling Heated Rivalry author, Rachel Reed. Nova Scotia is also rich in poetic talent. From our native son, George Eliot Clark, to Griffin Poetry Prize winner Anne Simpson of Antigonish, to spoken word poet L. Jones. Visitors and locals alike are drawn to book readings events, to literary festivals such as the Cabot Trail Writers Festival, Booktoberfest in Halifax, and Read by the Sea in Riverjohn. Speaking of festivals, colleagues, summer is the time when Nova Scotia's communities come alive with our professional theatre offerings. I join my fellow Nova Scotians and our visitors each summer hitting the theatre trail, from Ross Creek's Two Planks and a Passion outdoor theatre near Wolfville, to Ship's Company Theatre in Parsborough, to Theatre Bedeck, Shakespeare by the Sea in Point Pleasant Park, in Halifax, to the Chester Playhouse, to the Fringe Festival, to Festival Antigonish at the Bauer Theatre, a stone's throw from my home. High-caliber summer theatre is in full bloom and a major attraction for tourists to our province. Of course, we are fortunate to have many other theatre groups and venues that operate throughout the year. I'm sure looking forward to taking my granddaughter Violetta to Halifax's top-in-class Neptune Theatre to see Come From Away in June. Visitors and those enjoying staycations will find Nova Scotia's dance offerings to be very enjoyable, whether it's Halifax Dance's performance of the Nutcracker with Mermaid Theatre and Symphony Nova Scotia at the Rebecca Cohn Theatre, or the many Highland dancing performances and competitions throughout the province, or spending an evening dancing square sets at the West Mabu Hall, or down the road at the Red Shoe Pub, or at Piper's Pub when it reopens in Antigonish. There is sure to be something to please dance enthusiasts in Nova Scotia. When we dance, colleagues, there must be music, and visitors to Nova Scotia who love music are in for a feast for their ears and their spirits. When our family moved to Nova Scotia 29 years ago, I was thrilled to attend the Antigonish Highland Games and take in the power and beauty of the Scottish bagpipes and those drums. I'm a huge jazz fan, so I was thrilled to know that St. FX had a world-class jazz studies department with top musicians on faculty who would play and perform locally. I volunteered for the newly created Stan Rogers Folk Festival in Canso. Senator Manning's son, Mark, and Rum Ragged are regulars there, and also at the highly successful Celtic Colours International Festival in Cape Breton. Sarah McLaughlin hails from Nova Scotia, as do the rock band The Trews, who happen to hail from Antigonish. And of course, all Canadians know Spring Hill's songbird, Grammy and Juno Award winner, Anne Murray. Joel Plaskett, Classified, Sloan, For the Moment, Holly Cole, Neon Dream, Natalie McMaster, Anna Ludlow, Mary Beth Carty, Ashley McIsaac, Ian Sherwood, Emma Stevens, who sings Paul McCartney's Blackbird in the Mi'kmaq language, and Juno Award-winning fiddler Morgan Toney of Wagmatcook First Nation all bring musical acclaim to Nova Scotia. Everyone is welcome to Nova Scotia to catch an evening concert with Symphony Nova Scotia, attend Michael Steinis's Performing Arts Series in Antigonish, go down to the Halifax waterfront to take in the Jazz Festival, catch Heather Rankin, Ian McKinnon, and Rollins Cross, or the recent Juno Award nominee Heather McIsaac in concert. Or head up to Cheticamp to listen to some live tunes at the Doryman with Senator Aucoin. Colleagues, music can transport us in beautiful and profound ways. I was very fortunate to have joined Senate colleagues, ambassadors, and invited guests yesterday for the Liar's Dream musical event here in this chamber. It had been planned, executed, and hosted by our colleague Senator Housakos and his team. It was absolutely magical, and the music was transcendent. Our speaker pro tempore, Senator Cormier, said in his opening remarks, "Depuis l'Antiquité, la musique..."
Since antiquity, music has accompanied humanity like a ray of light in the darkness. In ancient Greece, the lyre was not only an instrument. It symbolized harmony between beings, between words and hearts, between peoples and peace. When its chords vibrate, they reminded us that beauty can unite that which discord sought to divide.
Vibrate, they remembered that beauty can unite that which discord sought to divide. For the ancient Greeks, we are told, music was not merely entertainment. It was philosophy, identity, and a companion to the soul. Andrian Boyd, artistic director of Festival Antigonish, our local professional summer theater, said in a recent speech, "The arts are not a luxury. They're a powerful force for health, connection, and resilience across our communities. Research shows that engaging in music, theater, dance, and visual arts strengthens social bonds and fosters empathy and inclusion across diverse populations." She goes on to say, arts, culture, and heritage are not merely feel-good experiences. They are core economic drivers. Nationally, Canada's arts and cultural sector contributed $131 billion to Canada's GDP in 2024. National data compiled by the Canadian Chamber of Commerce shows that every dollar invested in the arts generates approximately $29 in economic activity. People who purchase tickets to the theater, go to restaurants, stay in hotels, and shop in local stores. The arts are how we tell our stories to each other and to the world. Nova Scotia is renowned on the world stage for its unique culture and vibrant communities." End of quote. According to Stats Canada, in 2023, the Nova Scotia arts sector brought over $2 billion in GDP and responsible for the gross economic output of $3.5 billion. The arts sector accounts for more than 16,000 jobs, employing more people in Nova Scotia than farming, fishing, and forestry combined. Honourable Senators, arts and culture tourism has nation-building power and impact. Arts and culture are significant contributors to our economy, to the household economy, to the local economy, to the provincial economy, and the national. They build and sustain communities. Arts and culture unite us, and most importantly, they feed our souls, and they remind us of our humanity. Honourable Senators, what could be more important than that? Thank you. Merci.